Francis, and I'm going to take a few vitals on Louie before Dr. Garrison comes in. Do you have any questions or concerns before we start?
Well, this is Louie, and he's about 10 years old, and we've noticed that he's been getting really lethargic lately, and he's been drinking so much water. I don't know why. We always fill up his water bowl.
All right, I'll make sure that we tell Dr. Garrison. Can you put him up here on the scale and we'll get his weight?
Sure.
All right, well, we did get a reading from that. It looks like he's lost some weight since his last visit. Has he been eating normally?
You know, it's crazy. He's been eating like a pig. He eats all the time, always filling up his food bowl.
Oh, wow, okay. So we're gonna take some blood samples and then Dr. Garrison will come in and discuss the results. I'll go get Louie and get those tests done right now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Garrison, and this must be Louie. So we ran some blood work, and it looks like Louie has a high concentration of glucose in his blood, but this could be due to a bunch of things like stress, because I know him being in this vet clinic could be very stressful for him. So I asked our vet tech to go ahead and check his fructosamine levels as well, and they were also elevated, which points almost without a doubt to feline diabetes.
Oh,
It's
no,
okay.
my Louie! Oh no, he's not ready to die. He's so young.
Please try to stay calm. I promise. This is it may sound very alarming and scary, especially about your beloved pet. This is a very treatable disease, and I'll be happy to explain it to you and the treatments in more detail.
Please do everything you can to help my Louie, please.
Of course. So essentially, feline diabetes is the combination of insulin resistance and beta cell dysfunction in the pancreas. I have a brochure here if you'd like to look along. Insulin resistance can arise from genetic or lifestyle factors, such as if Louie's not getting enough exercise or if one of his parents had a history of diabetes in the family. That could be due to that. Beta cells are just the cells that make up these islet cells here that are part of the pancreas, so this would be a beta cell. And the beta cells are very important because they make the insulin. Eventually, a cat will develop beta cell dysfunction. Beta cell dysfunction comes from amyloid accumulation. Amyloid is just a starch-like protein, so it's very starchy, gets stuck really easily there in the pancreas, and the amyloid arises from the islet-associated polypeptide, which is secreted along with insulin from those beta cells. Cats are unable to process this normally, which leads to an excessive accumulation of it, and it is converted into amyloid, and the now damaged beta cells cannot create a sufficient amount of insulin, and insulin is needed for the transfer of glucose from the blood into the cells of the body. If there's too little insulin available, the glucose can't enter the cells. So this would be a normal, healthy, working pancreas right here, which releases the insulin and is able to let those glucose from the blood into the cell here to be used as energy. This would be an example of Louie's pancreas, and he's releasing some insulin, but not as much as a normal, and it's just there's something wrong with the receptor, and for some reason that glucose is not able to get into that cell for energy. So feel free to take that home and look at that if that could help you anyway. But yeah, that high glucose in the bloodstream is known as hyperglycemia. So that explains Louie's high blood glucose level. You also said that you observed increased urination, hunger, thirst, weight loss in Louie. Because of this high concentration of glucose in the blood, his kidneys cannot quickly and readily reabsorb the glucose as they should. So the glucose is excreted into the urine, and with that water is pulled from the tissues to try and balance the concentration gradient of the urine, hence the excessive urination. And with the loss of water in the tissues, Louie is trying to replenish them by drinking lots and lots of water. With insufficient amounts of insulin, Louie's cells are being starved of energy. His body is breaking down fat and protein stores to gain some energy, and that explains his weight loss. He tries to eat more in an attempt to build back up the fat and protein stores, but with little result. So I know that's a lot to take in. Do you have any questions about anything we've talked about this far?
Is he gonna live? Is he gonna be okay?
Yes. This is a very treatable disease. Really, it is just a vicious cycle. As long as the beta cells are damaged, insulin will continue to not be made in the appropriate amounts. Glucose will continue to be present in high quantities in the blood and will continue to be secreted, meaning the water will continue to be taken from the tissues until we find a way to give him some insulin. Luckily, there's a pretty simple solution to this, which is the insulin injections. And if we add that necessary insulin, Louie's body should be able to figure out the rest. On another positive note, many cats stop needing the insulin injections after just a few months. Now, he won't be cured of diabetes, but his body will be less dependent on the insulin shot, Each case I see is a little different, but that is our end goal in little Louie's case here, is to be less dependent on these insulin shots. I'll have the vet tech come back in and show you how to administer Louie's medication. If you have any questions or concerns at all about feline diabetes, the insulin shots, really anything at all, please don't hesitate to give us a call. I hope that Louie will start to look and feel much better.
I'm going to show you how to administer Louie's insulin shots. This is going to allow the glucose to enter the cells and be used as energy. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up the loose skin behind his shoulders. And you see this indentation?
Mm-hmm.
So that is where you're going to inject the needle and you're going to pull back. And if you see no blood, then you're going to inject the insulin in. All right, so do you have any questions?
Are there any other things I can do to make her healthier?
Well, we would recommend making his diet high in proteins but low in carbohydrates. And then we would also recommend lots of exercise, so new toys, just kind of getting him into a new routine.
Oh, we just bought him a new toy. It's a jingle ball and he really loves it.
Oh, that's perfect. Hi, Louie. So, how's Louie doing?
Oh, he's great. He's acting like a lively little kitten again. He's back to normal weight, not drinking so much water, and he's practically plays with his jingle ball 24/7.
Well, that's all great to hear. So, how have the insulin shots been going?
Oh, they're great. At first he was a little cranky when I tried to inject them, but after a while he got used to it, so it worked really well.
All right, well, that's all great news. So, as his follow-up visit, we're just going to run some more tests. The doctor will be in to talk to you about all of the results that we get. But for now, we're just going to take his weight. So if you can put him up here on the scale.
There you go.
All right. Okay, we have a number. His weight is starting to normalize more. So this is all just fabulous news.
Thank you so much, my guardian angel.
So it's looking like from the blood work his glucose is beginning to normalize again, and the fructosamine, and his weight is starting to normalize too, which is all great news. So I heard those insulin injections are working just fine.
Oh yeah, they're great. They've been amazing. Thank you so much.
All right, that's great. So I think now Louie can start to start lowering those doses for the insulin, and so we will continue to check up on you guys and make sure that everything's going fine. But it looks to me like we can go ahead and lower those dosages, and so hopefully you can work towards being a very healthy little cat again without any insulin injections.
Oh wow, I'm so pleased. Without you guys, my cat would be 6 feet under right now. Thank you so much for everything you've done to help Louie. I can't thank you enough. I worship you at your feet.
Of course, thank you guys so much for coming in.